lovely people. I'm Sinead and welcome to Craft and Chat. This week, the final video of Outfitting Granny came out, or I should say last week, because this is Wednesday and it came out on Friday. But I hope you're enjoying that series. I know I've had a lot of fun getting Granny put together and all her lovely little details. And there will be surprises should you choose to invest in her. The what's listed in the listing isn't everything she will come with. Also, let's see. I'm getting back to the building of the dollhouse, and that's what I'm gonna work on today. Is I want to take apart the Glitter Girl kitchen pieces that I have been using in the high-rise and break them up so that I can use them as individual pieces, because there's a refrigerator, a stove, and a sink all stuck together. And I'm gonna also share with you how the dolls went together, that the baby dolls from, I guess, 2 weeks ago. And that I never gave an update on that because I just completely forgot last week. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you that. Here's the Vogue baby doll. And you'll note that I did not stitch back up through here or across here to keep the stuffing out of the legs, because I could not get this in my machine. They obviously used a specialized machine, and I did not want to use hand stitching for this. So what I did to keep the stuffing out of the legs was I have corks in here. It turns out that the champagne corks and Patron bottle corks that have the round end fit perfectly in the leg, and the skinnier or smaller corks that go, well, actually this was the end of the Patron bottle, and I'm pretty sure I've seen the smaller corks, you know, you could just buy them, or some wines have a smaller cork. Anyway, it fit. I just went through all these corks. I don't actually drink hardly ever, but I have kept corks from wine bottles of other people, guests, myself, but, you know, over years. So I have a large, well, not large, it's 2 jars full of, and I believe they're gallon jars full of corks. And I just pull out the corks from the various different things and try them out. And she ended up with a great big champagne cork up into her head to keep the stuffing out of her head. So that was my solution to keeping the stuffing out of the limbs. And it also has the added benefit is that these this plastic is thin enough that it has a tendency to collapse, and I kind of remember mine being out of the round, being a little bit oblong from loving, and the cork rounds it back out and gives it support so it does not squish anymore. Anyway, we'll wake her up. I don't think I can show her. Woke up on the... She has some lashes missing. This doll is actually in better shape than the one I had. I think all the blush on my baby doll was gone. So anyway, and this is how the horseman came back together. And this method here, I actually ended up using wire because I didn't like the way that the zip tie, or is that zip tie in there? See, it's only been 2 weeks and I can't remember what I used. Nope, that's wire. I went ahead and used wire because the zip ties leave a great big bump that can wear a hole in the fabric. And oh, both dolls are stuffed with wool. I did not put back in the stuffing they had originally, but there's the zip tie on the back. And because, yes, I used it for holding the head on. This has got a serger edge that they threaded the old zip tie through, assuming that it was a zip tie. Like I said, memory's not real good on this. And there are no stains on this doll to indicate whether it was wire, but yeah. I really think that this doll's proportions are somewhat humorous, but cute, really, really cute. She's got these tiny little arms, and I noticed that that was kind of a thing with the soft-bodied dolls, is their arms and legs would be so tiny in comparison to their heads. Anyway, she is back together and happy for it. So I have here tools that you use in electronics. It's a repair kit, and I use these on the Glitter Girl stuff for taking it apart. I have used it to help get Blythe heads apart because let's see, I think it's this one. This flat end here, which is now all boogery because I've used it a lot and it's probably time for a new set, can get in there and not scar up. You don't end up with dents and whatnot in your edge of your plastic, or less likely to than if I were using metal tools to get in there and pop it apart. But on this particular Glitter Girl situation, I did use the metal, and I don't know if you can see it. I bent it a couple of times and had to bend it back. But the back, we're gonna have to change this view here. The back was glued on. This is actually part of the back that is still glued in place, and there's where it completely popped off. But yeah, I pried it apart because the back gets glued on. Once you've got the back off, this is a tab holding on a little shelf on the other side, and there are lots of just regular Phillips screws. So I'm going to rearrange the camera so you can see better. This is the kitchen from the kitchen side. These are the appliances I'm trying to remove from the back. The back is too tall for the dollhouse, the cardboard dollhouse that I'm building, and I don't know if I'm going to reuse the shelves or not. But anyway, I'm probably not going to bother with trying to take those off right now. Mostly what I want to do is take off the fridge and stove and stuff. So that's just a lot of removing these little screws, and I should get a magnet to hold on to them just so I don't drop one. Because there's nothing quite like stepping on a screw. I guess it's a lot like stepping on a Lego. Unpleasant, to say the least. Looks like we were glued there. Seeing a plastic residue, or I don't know what you'd call that. Yeah, there must have been a glue point right there. The back has a little spot that, just like this, a little spot that's sticking out. I don't see any tabs. Okay, this is the refrigerator. That might be a tab. No, there's no. Well, I guess we'll see. It'll either come off or it won't. So what have you been doing this week? Lots of crafting or lots of staying in the sun? We haven't had sun here, but that's no surprise. Aha. One refrigerator released. And because this is Glitter Girl, the shelves have glitter encapsulated in them, and I kind of love it. I don't like glitter that comes off, and so yeah, we have the fridge door has glitter in it. Any glitter that comes off and gets around on everything, that kind of drives me a little bit crazy. But now I have a freestanding, and this is great because I did not know whether or not the back was going to be solid, but I have a freestanding fridge for the dollhouse. I can arrange it however I want. Okay, next item. We've had a lot of rain this week, and so much so that it cooled off to the point that my son was motivated to start the fire. And of course, because it's not actually that cold, it doesn't take long before you're being run out of the house, but it needs to dry out. It was really moist in here, so I don't mind that he did it. I just, well, I'm getting to experience summer temperatures even if we don't have them here in the house, because it's been warm the last few days when he's been motivated to get the fire going. And it's actually better cooking to use the wood stove for cooking, because our backup or whatever is only a single electric burner, and you know, that's one pot of whatever, one pan of whatever at a time. No multiple pans to cook. I think we might have, oh, these two are connected somehow, and we have a tab here. So these little tabs are just hanging on to the plastic. So I kind of want to, part of me wants to just break that part that's holding it in place behind it. I think, did I get it over the, okay, we're not clearing. There was a lot of that going on to get the back off. I actually had to break the back off. And I used a hardwood, well, it was originally made to be a chopstick. It was my son's first attempt at turning a chopstick. And I can just tell you that it was a chunky chopstick. But it wasn't bad for a first attempt. But it made a great little pry bar for getting in. And most of the time I use it for ironing. I use it to stick in sleeves and whatnot and iron on it. But this does not want to move. I may have to break that. Let's see if this will... Okay, we got it standing up. That should help. That actually broke. Okay, let go. There we go. It's free. See, now all I have is a bunch of empty space. You can see where I covered up the hot pink. Not that I dislike hot pink, it's just I wanted lavender to go with the rest of my color scheme. So these look like they have, there's a tab there. I was a little frustrated with this unit because the drawers do not come out. They have stops. And so if anything went over the back, you couldn't retrieve it. But hey, now, oh, that's fun. I can push them out the back. All right, so I can see this tab right here, but I cannot see what is holding it in place. Ah, there is a tab in here. Well, that's going to be a little more difficult to get at. Yeah, I'm gonna need a different tool. I don't know if you can see that. It's really tight space. And in fact, and we got sticky still from the tape that was originally on here that is now collecting dirt. Wow, kind of amazing that it didn't collect the dirt sooner. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop and see if I can do this off screen. Well, as you can see, I got them apart. I did have to venture out to the garage for a chisel. And in the process, of course, I picked up all the things that had come inside to take them back out, because it's like the garage from the house is the equivalent of like 2 city blocks. So, you know, I'm kind of lazy about going out there and returning things. So I had a pile of stuff and had to fill my pockets with tools and juggle a couple of cans of paint and took it all back out there. And then I couldn't find the chisel. And so I called on my son to give me a hand and found the chisel just as he was making it out to the garage. That's how it always works. But I had him invested at that point. And so he sharpened the chisel, and then when I was struggling to cut away the edge like I wanted to, he took it over. And so we have a little bit of damage, which probably would have been worse had I been doing it. But when you put the... why is it I can't remember what that's called right this second? When you put it back in there, shelf. We're going to call it a shelf so that we can move on. You can't see the damage, and it's not probably something that I very seldom take pictures of the oven open, but I was kind of hoping that, you know, it would be available should I want to. Also, I had forgotten that these knobs move, and that is such a cool detail. So you can turn on your burners. Also, while he was messing around inside here doing that, I went and got the bottle of oil so that I could get the sticky off once we were done. And, well, I got most of it. I'm still finding bits of it. It's kind of weird how it looks like you've got it all, and you give it a few minutes, and you come back, and there's still some there. Anyway, I know most of you probably use the product called Gooby Gone. And basically, that is a chemical, what do you call it? Chemical version of turpentine. So that in the woodworking world, we call it terps. So it's made up of terps, some kind of oil, probably petroleum-based, and fragrance. And so it's got 3 things in it that I can't use, but knowing what it is, I started using oil to try and get adhesives off, and found that it worked really well. So I use a camellia oil or tea seed oil, and it takes the goo of sticky tape right off. And if I need turpentine, I actually have some natural made from pine turpentine to remove, like with oil paints and whatnot. So there are options out there. If you want to step away from the chemical version, there are options that you can access. You just have to ask questions. So we can put back in our drawer. Of course, it's not going to want to stay in because it's laying on its back here, but we get our drawer back in. So our stove is now separate, and we can put back in the drawer over here. If I get too frustrated, I now know that I can take off the stops if I want to remove. If I want to get rid of this frustration of not being able to take the drawer all the way out from the front, I can remove the stops. But we have this little pile of plastic here I keep sweeping up from taking off the tab entirely, because that's where it was, and I went back and took it off completely. I have these tabs here, and these sticking out, and depending on what I decide to do in the cardboard dollhouse with this kitchen, I may have to take these off. And I think I'm going to employ a Dremel for that. Although taking this off with the chisel worked fairly well. It wasn't too big a fight. Once it was out, separated from this, it was a fight when it was still inside because you couldn't get a good angle on it. But once it was out, it was easy to take off the rest. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that and decide whether or not I even need to take those off. Now that they're apart, I can put a counter in between or rearrange them to where one is facing into, you know, like that in the room. So that was my reason and determination in taking these apart, is I wanted some countertop between and cabinet between the appliances and the sink. That's why I took it all off, not just because the back was too tall for the room, but because it gives me more flexibility in how I put it into the dollhouse. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of taking apart the kitchen in a way that it inspires you to look at some of the things you have that you're maybe not happy with and alter them to a point that you will be happy with them. Because after all, for me, collecting the toys, it's about having fun. And if I need to alter it to be what I want, then I like to just dive in and give it a go. There's not a whole lot of risk there unless it's an expensive piece to start with. But again, if it's not making you happy, it doesn't bring you joy, see what you can do to change it. I'm going to have to build a lot of counters now that I didn't think about before, but hey, you know, I'll be happier with the space. I forgot to mention earlier at the intro that I have almost 100 subscribers, and I would like to do a giveaway when that number is reached. And I would like suggestions as to what you would like to see in a giveaway. Recognize that I'm not going to buy anything to give away. It will be something that I have made or have possession of already. So feel free to make suggestions of what you'd like to see in a giveaway, and probably be doing that giveaway really soon because I'm really close. And let's set up something for fun that I will repeat, say every 100 subscribers, repeat doing a giveaway because I think they're fun to do. Have a wonderful week, a delightful day, and I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.